Hello, everyone. Tonight, I kind of wanted to talk about something that may not take me very long, but it's something that a lot of people don't think about until the situation exists, which is hand size. Most people think that pianists, all of us, have huge hands, and that's why we can reach all these. But as we've seen in rotations, well, you can reach things that way much more than bigger than the hand. But let's talk about the larger intervals. Now, the most common large interval for grown-ups and teenagers and adults would be the octave. And it's a very essential interval to be able to play. The problem with the piano is it's very thin sound. So when we do an octave, we're automatically doubling a note. And it's done everywhere. When you want any kind of heft, you're going to be getting octaves. And then you're going to be getting the chords that go with the octaves. But let's just take the octave for a moment. Let's say you're a little shy of that octave. Now, speaking of octaves, there was a great pianist, Joseph Hoffman, and there's a story that goes with Hoffman. Rachmaninoff had massive hands. He could reach this, okay? And so could Van Cliburn. But Hoffman actually had a little trouble with the octave. He could get it, but it was a little trouble. So Steinway actually built him a piano where he could, it was just a little smaller to scale, where the octave was much more comfortable. Now, that's how important the octave is. One of the greatest pianists had a piano built to make that more comfortable for him. So it's a really essential interval. Now, people say to me, Jeff, I have a little trouble with it. What can I do? Can I do anything to make the octaves more comfortable? And I said, well, obviously trying to play the octave would help, but the problem is we have to drop the thumb. Now, what do I mean by that? We need an exercise that's going to bring the thumb down further than... I ask people, can you stretch your hand out a little bit? And they go, yeah, sure, okay. There, I'm doing it, right? And they stretch it out like you can see them struggling a little bit. And I go, okay, we put our hand up against each other, and I go, okay, stretch it out. They go, okay. And then I go, ting, like this. And I bring my thumb down. That's from years of playing. In other words, this thumb, not quite a straight line with the other guy, but if you take a ruler, we'll see how close I am. I have no idea. I haven't even thought of this. Okay, and I bring that thumb down. You can see that, and there's the pinky. Here, let's put it on the other side. You can see that it's kind of straight. I mean, maybe this one's a little more angle, but a lot of people can only bring it down that far. This happened over the years, and I had fairly decent size. I could reach the octave fairly easily when I was 10, 11, or 12. I can reach that now. I can reach that. That's like Hoffman reaching the octave. I can just make it. If it's less, I can do that. This is quite simple, but not necessary. You got to understand that it's not necessary. The octave is what we want. So, what do I recommend to get your hands going for the octave? Okay, Hanon number 31. Right here. I have the ascending version right here. Now, what happens in Hanon 31, it's kind of like an exercise that momentarily will help you to stretch and drop the thumb. Remember, it could take a couple of years for you to get that thumb dropped enough, but every little bit counts for this type of thing. The pattern is this, but I'm going to play it on the piano and show you why it's a good exercise for this. And again, because of my camera, I can't really sit center, but that's all right. I started it down here, and it can go 2 octaves up. What's on the page is 1 octave. But if you take a look at what's going on, there's where it sneaks the octave in. And if you play it semi-legato, which that is a dot it, that by doing that, you're letting the hands stretch a bit. And that's good for them. See, one of the things about octave playing is that, I'll play it again but in a minute, but the thing about an octave is when people play them and they like try a scale, they lock. They lock the hand. I don't know if you can see it. They lock it like this. No, it has to remain very pliable, flexible. And people try to reach it. So by doing this exercise, they're all dots, they're all jellos. And the hand is starting to stretch, go out further apart. Then you've got the octave, and if you can keep it semi-legato, you're going to be bringing that thumb down a little bit every time you play it. Right there at that point, the hand has to reach the octave, but stay really loose. And then he ends it by playing these double octaves. You may have trouble with that. When there's no trouble on that, then you're getting there. You're doing pretty good, okay? So I recommend that one, and it's up on PianoAt10, the resources. You'll see it for the date today, 6/25/20. It does come down. At some point, I'll put that one up too. And that's just the same exercise, going back down. That's the one you want to get quite comfortable. Now, you're probably thinking, well, I'm only 9 years old. I don't know if 9-year-olds watch this broadcast or these videos. But there is one for you. I've got kids that have trouble reaching a 6. It's the other essential interval. Octaves are obvious. Thicken in the unison. But the sixths are very useful. They're the other common interval. And for kids, Hanon number 5, I'm pretty sure it's 5. I named it 5. These are my own editions of these. Do the same kind of thing. The only thing with it is, I'm sorry, is it that? Yep. And there's that 6. And I've got some 7, 8-year-olds playing this right now. And they play it for a while to get their thumb dropped down. They're very small hands. You know, when I work with 5.5, 6, 7-year-olds, some of them can be pretty tiny. And that's about it. To get to here can be a bit of a stretch, pun intended, okay? And right there, man, they have to really work at trying to get those hands out for that 6. So I've also posted Hanon number 5. Yeah. See, the Hanon exercises are basically based around the 6, but they rotate, because they rotate in. Hanon number 1. I'm sorry. Now there, the kids have to do the 5/4, and little kids, man, that 5/4 is like a big deal for them. One that does this, a little bit easier. They can rotate through it. But the reason I like number 5, they have to play that 6th right away, and they're going to make an attempt to stretch for it, and the hand's going to get stretched out. The thumb is going to start to drop. Yeah. So we need an exercise like that to effectively bring the thumb down. That's what happens. As far as the other fingers being able to stretch from each other, they go to a point, but not a whole lot. It's this thumb. And remember, the thumb is our friend. The thumb can do all this stuff. We can do stuff because of the thumb. It becomes a substitute finger when you need that extra note. When you need to go up 6 notes, You can cheat because you can go. It'll go just under the notes. See it? 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. Instead of playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. If for some reason the thumb had to be here and the pinky had to be here, okay, it's such a great finger. Let's say I had to put the C sharp in. Okay, that little thumb can just do all kinds of wonderful things. So the more it can reach, the better off you are. In structures like, now I can just make that, but when I play that, I do not reach it. That's all rotation, all rotation. So the thumb, see, when you get these bigger rotations, it's nice to have the thumb drop because it just gives you more opportunity to have a bigger. I can kind of reach. I can't quite do the octave on black keys. I could do the octave, and 2 to 5, I could do that also. And that, I think, is just the size of your hand. You can't do much about that, but you can do a lot about that by bringing the thumb down. Okay, so a little short session tonight, I know, but Hanon 5, Hanon 31, they'll be up online. I'm going to try to see if I can get the rest of Hanon 31 up also, so you can do the descending. Any of these Hanons can go up an octave and an extra octave, even a third octave. The only thing that changes is the disposition of the wrist, the rotation of the wrist as you're playing it. But I think 2 octaves is probably pretty valuable. So anyway, there you go. How to drop the thumb. I guess that's what I'll call tonight's episode, the dropping thumb. Tomorrow night I'm going to talk about, to give you something to look forward to on Friday night, I'm going to be talking about a line from W.C. Fields, who was a comedic actor in the early 19th. And he, at one point, in his wry sense of humor, said, anything worth having is worth cheating for. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow night a little bit, okay? That, maybe I'll just let it sit at that. Anything worth having is worth cheating. So anyway, I'll leave you tonight a little bit short, but check these out and practice them. If you can reach the octave, kind of, Hanon 31, okay? And remember, when words fail, music speaks.